Hola Pablo, buenas tardes.
¿Qué tal, Ricardo? Buenas tardes.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Buying Property in Mexico. I'm Loretta Cernowski with Remax Costa del Mar here in Puerto Penasco, and my co-host is here also. Hola, Ricardo.
Hi everyone. Very happy to be with you again on the fourth show in a row with great people on the show.
Yeah, so today we have I know it'll be a very informative session. We have some of the representatives from Intercam Bank, and why this is so important and exciting is that there's only a few ways to buy property in Mexico as a foreigner. And not everyone has a couple $100,000 laying around. So this is an exciting program that they have launched, and I would like to introduce Pablo and Gabriela. Can you tell us your role at the bank, and then we'll just dive right into your exciting new program.
Sure. Gabby, please.
Thank you, Pablo. Thank you for the invitation. We are the owners of the product in Intercam. Pablo is the owner of Dream Loan, that this is the topic that we are talking today. And I am the manager of trust of the Sun Restricted. Pablo, can you?
Yes, as Gabby was saying, I'm the director for the Dream Loan program, which is a loan. It is for foreigners in this case, or in this scenario, for Americans and Canadian citizens and residents who wants to purchase a property here in Mexico. So this is what we have in Intercam. It's called Dream Loan, and it's been in the market since probably a year and a half. And we're in several areas. So that's what we're going to talk today about this product.
So can you tell us where you are located?
I'm full-time in Los Cabos. My office is in Los Cabos, but I have a team in Puerto Vallarta, and of course I work with the branches all over Mexico, because Intercam is not. We're a bank. We are a Mexican bank, but we have almost 70 branches across Mexico. So I can work with other branches as well. Like we have a branch in Puerto Peñasco, but we have other branches in Playa del Carmen, Tulum, all the touristic places around all across Mexico. Intercam has presence in these areas.
So firstly, if I'm from Phoenix and I want to purchase property in Puerto Penasco, do I have to go to a branch? Can I do it online?
Good question. Yes, you can stop by your branch because we have a team there who knows about this product, about the Dream Loan, or they can do it online because we have our webpage, which is dreamloan.com, and you can apply it online here. It's a very easy way to apply for this pre-qualification online. So either way, you can do it online if you're in Phoenix, or you stop by the office in Puerto Peñasco, and they can help you there as well.
For those watching,
Pablo, Gabriela.
We will provide the information for the website afterwards, and if you want a copy of the recording, just shoot us an email. So, as a realtor here, I sell things from lots to commercial property to houses and condos. What types of properties are eligible for this program?
The product is for residential purposes. So it could be for villas, it could be for condominiums, it can be for properties, as long as the purpose is residential. So it could be horizontal or vertical. It doesn't matter, as long as the purpose is for residential uses.
Okay. Why is it a dream loan, Pablo and Gabriela? Why makes it a dream?
Because most of the people who are buying in Mexico, especially the foreigners and from Canada or the US, they are always dreaming on having a piece of in a touristic place, like in a beach, right?
Sure.
So that's why it's called dream loan. It's a dream that you may have during your life, but you can do it this with a loan. So that's why it's called dream loan, because we use that dream from our buyers or from our clients, and we do it with a loan. What we are specialists of. We're a bank, so we can do loans.
Is there a minimum or a maximum loan amount?
I have a minimum purchase price. The minimum purchase price should be at least $250,000. That's the minimum. And we can do up to 65% loan to value.
Okay.
So I don't have a minimum loan amount per se, but we recommend to do it at least $100,000 and above, right? Because financially it makes sense to at least borrow $100,000.
Sure.
My maximum loan amount is $10 million. So I can do plenty of properties. I mean, I don't have what.
I'll take
Yes,
that.
all type of clients. So, and we have a few. We have a few in Mexico with those kind of loan limits that they're looking for this kind of properties.
And just for a reminder to the Canadian citizens or anyone outside the U.S., that is $250,000 US dollars, correct?
Correct. That's a very good point, because this loan is granted in US dollars, so that's very important.
Okay.
It's and most of the prices in Mexico and especially in this kind of places are in US dollars, and we fund the loan and the payments are in US dollars. And actually, we're closing with many Canadians, no matter the exchange rate of the difference between the Canadian dollar and the US dollar, right? But doesn't matter. I mean, recently, actually last week, we closed with a Canadian. So we have a lot of people buying from Canada right now.
Do you know why that is?
I might have some. I know. I know it's snowing, but right now here, I know that Peñasco is pretty warm and Cabo is pretty warm, but they have the opportunity to be here on the snowing season and then go back to Canada, where there is no too much hot right now.
Of course. Yes.
Pablo, I have a question that I'm sure some of our clients would ask to us. Say that we have gone through your process that I'm sure you're going about to explain that
Sure.
for the audience. The loan has been authorized. Where are the funds deposited? Is it that taking place in a Mexican bank account, or is it going to go directly to the seller or to the Canadian bank, or where your money is credited?
Normally we work with escrow accounts. So escrow accounts in this kind of transactions is very common, right? It's very standard way to proceed. So we can, once all we have signed and we fund, or the work we're going to fund is probably into an escrow account. An escrow account will disperse the funds to the parties, to the seller, whatever, to the commissions or for the agents or whatever, all the funding that the disbursement that should be required for the transaction. So that's what we typically do. We fund into escrow. Of course, we have to consider that normally the disbursements could take a while, right? For example, if we fund today, depends on what the timing we're funding, probably the funds will be released until the next day. So that's the only thing that we have to consider. But that's a pretty standard process, but we can fund into escrow.
Can you give us a summary of the application process and what documents that I would need as a borrower, potential borrower?
This is and I use this example a lot because my product is for American or Canadian citizens or residents, but the ones that are not living here in Mexico, the ones that are tourists, right? Because my product is for all those who have their income and credit from Canada or the US. So the documents that I'm going to ask or request are probably tax returns for the last 3 years, bank statements for the last 6 months, investment accounts for the last 6 months, passport, utility bills, and of course filling out the loan application. So the documentation or the information is pretty standard, we wanted to do the same experience as you wanted to get a mortgage or a loan in the US or Canada. So we will request those documents. Of course, we need the last 3 years tax returns instead of the last 2, but that just in terms because the underwriting process is built that way. So we ask for the last 3 years tax returns, bank statement, 6 months, pay stub for the last 3 months, a loan application, which is a very standard loan application, utility bills, and passports or IDs.
Okay. And so if I start the application process, hand everything into you, what is the time for being approved so that I could go shopping for a house?
Perfect. That's normally when I have this package complete, which is what I call my checklist complete, in average of 7 to 9 business days, I can get you approved. I'll get back to you and say, this is my offer. Let's say $500,000 loan amount up to 25 years. This is the interest rate. So you are approved. Then you can go and start shopping.
Okay, so if I find a place and I have my approval letter, I'm not sure if you know the answer to this, I'm sure you do. As their realtor, when I'm writing for, do I say that it's financing? Is it a cash offer? Is it contingent to other items, even though they're all approved?
That's a very good observation because with the lending or when you're doing lending or this kind of loans, you have to approve the client or the borrower. In this case, the buyer, we are approved the buyer, but we have to approve the collateral. We have to approve the guarantee, which is the property. So let's this example, you are financially approved. You are approved, right? Loretta, you are approved for this is my offer, but this is the property you want to buy. So my offer has a contingency upon approval for the guarantee. And we approve the guarantee in 2 ways. We do an appraisal on the property and we do a title search on the property. So those 2 validations on the guarantee, once I have those and are positive, then I have a loan formally approved because I have the borrower approved and I have the guarantee approved. And then we're moving to closing, which is just the legal transaction that requires, in Mexico, transferring title from the seller to the buyer with a notario público, building the fideicomiso, getting all the documents from the property. So that's the closing process. But
how long does it typically take for your bank to authorize fully the financing?
Depends on the area.
All the way to
Yes.
the title search and all that.
Depends on the area. And why depends on the area? Because title search, it's a very technical document, and we don't have a lot of vendors doing the kind of title search we require. For example, in Los Cabos, in the Los Cabos area, a title search could take somewhere around 2 weeks. But in Puerto Peñasco, because we are pretty close to actually fund our first loan in Puerto Peñasco, it took us like a month to get the title search. So depends on the area. Puerto Vallarta, it's the same, around 2 weeks, but Playa del Carmen, it could take me a month to get that title search. Appraisal is really fast because we have a lot of vendors doing the appraisal. So an appraisal could take 2 weeks, but the title search is the one that it could take me a little bit more. So I would say for Puerto Peñasco to get formally approved, in less than 2 weeks, I can approve a client, financially approve the client. And then moving on the property could take probably a month or month and a half. Depends on the title search timing.
Okay.
So somewhere around 1.5 to 2 months.
Yes. But of course, we are always trying to get better on the title search. And that's why it's very important for you as the realtors to let us know if there are any potential problems or any kind of situations that could prevent us for the title search. So that's the idea. Whenever I receive a client, I always ask, where are you buying? The property is finished. Or if there is any information that could help us to expedite the process. That's very important. I always say communication is an important part of our business because you need to know if it's going to take more time because you need to put that in the offer, right?
Sure. So on the side, the role that how you work with someone like Ricardo, is there some items there that he would be doing, like helping with the title search? Ricardo, maybe you can comment.
Yeah, for example, of course, the title search, the idea of the title search is to review the history for the property. So as much information as the seller or the parties can provide, it will be easier. If they're buying in a development, of course, the development will help us with all the legal documents or all the previous public deeds that they have, and that will expedite the process for the title search. So we have a checklist for that as well. I have a checklist for title search. I have a checklist for appraisal. So I can share with you those checklists, and we can review them with your specific clients. For example, if you're already working with a developer, we can talk with the developer and see what information they have, so we can start doing this even before you have a client or a potential buyer.
Makes sense.
Very well. Yep. All righty. Question. What's the time frame of the loans that you offer? How many years?
Yeah, actually, David is asking for what's the interest rate and numbers of years for a loan. We have year terms for 5 all the way to 25. I have 5, 10, 15, 20, and 25. The interest rate, right now we're in a range. We're in a 7.5 to 9.5. Why I'm in a range is just because I need to determine the FICO score of the client, loan to value, year term. Once I have those variables or those factors, I will decide the rate, right? But the rate is fixed, and there's no prepayment penalty. And what else? Yeah, it's fixed and no prepayment penalty. So my range of rates are right now 7.5 to 9.5. The rate will be determined by FICO score, LTV, loan amount, and once it's fixed, then we'll decide the term of the loan. But those are those variables.
Can you give us some idea about the FICO score? Just sort of a rough summary of. Okay.
The minimum FICO score we require is 700. So as long as you have at least 700 FICO score, you are potentially client for the dream loan.
Do you have such a thing like they do in the States, like a co-signer?
Yes, of course.
Okay.
Yes, we have the borrower and a co-signer.
Okay,
they can apply and that will give us more room for us to get them approved.
Now, Danielle says she's and her husband are ready to buy, and they love someone to contact to get it. Danielle, I will send you their contact information so that you can reach out directly. I know that I went through this process a year and a half ago, and it was very, very informative. And the that the loans officer did was very, very good. I understood it very well.
Pablo, is there any commission for accepting the loan, opening the loan, or any sort of commission?
A loan origination fee is 2% of the loan amount. That's the origination fee we charge. But an important part here is that we can help your clients or any client from the beginning all the way to closing. I have a team ready for the commercial part of the business, which is get you approved, get all the way to get the property approved. And then when we move to closing, I have a legal team who will oversee the whole transaction for you. So we'll be with you from the beginning all the way to the end, all the way to your signing in front of the notary, and we're funding the loan. So we'll be with you from the beginning to the end.
Okay. Is there any?
Do you have a list of the notary publics in town already?
Yes, in Puerto Peñasco, we have a couple of notaries that are approved, but we're always, the idea is for us to have at least 3 notarios in the area, in each area that we are working on right now. But yeah, we already have a set of notarios for Puerto Peñasco.
Great.
What about any currency exchange considerations for foreigners being their mortgage payments?
You mean like if they want to pay in another currency?
Yeah, like say if I am Canadian, how do I, is there anything that I need to be aware of?
Not necessarily. I mean, the loan is in the US dollars, so that's the only thing that you should consider, that my
As long
payment
as
or
it's-
your payment, yeah, it's in US dollars. We have different ways to pay it. You can do a wire transfer, we can do an auto debit into your account. So we have several ways so you can pay your loan or make your monthly
come-
payment, sorry.
Can it just come right out of my account like an automatic payment?
Yes. Yeah, we
Okay.
do have that for the US. I think we're working on it's called ACH in the US. And I think we're finding a way to do it in Canada as well. But right now, you are a US citizen and you have your account with, let's say, any bank. You authorize us to an ACH and we can do the auto debit for the monthly payment on that bank account.
Okay.
Danielle Tolliver is asking, does the loan have to be in an LLC?
Not
Does it
necessarily.
have to be in an LLC?
No, not necessarily. I mean, it could be on your
It's
personal
either
name,
an individual.
an individual. If you want to use an LLC as an structure for your benefit, that's a different option. But it doesn't have to be on an LLC.
And something we don't want to
Right.
talk about, but we have to. What if someone has trouble making their payments, or they don't make the payments, or what are the
Yeah.
consequences?
Of course, there's a foreclosure process. It's not immediately. I mean, if you're late in one payment, it's not like we're starting the foreclosure process immediately. I would say that there is at least three missing monthly payments. That's where we're starting the foreclosure process. But of course, before we reach out to that part or to start that process, we kind of have communication with the borrower to see what's their situation and what's happening, so we can have some sort of arrangement. But of course, if there is no arrangement, the foreclosure process will start, and the lender or the bank will recoup or will get the property back.
So Brianna missed the first part. So, and maybe you could reiterate for people that, because it's an important
Sure.
question. What is the down
The-
payment percentage required?
It's 35% down, meaning that we can do up to 65% loan to value with a minimum purchase price of $250,000.
Okay. Okay. What else, Ricardo? Oh,
Yeah,
are there any prepayment penalties?
No,
Sorry.
zero
Are there any
prepayment penalties.
Payment penalties or restrictions? Zero?
Nope, zero. I mean, you can pay it off the loan whenever you want. There's no prepayment penalties at all, and there is no like waiting time for you to make prepayments. You can do prepayments after your first month or your first monthly payment. So there's no prepayment penalties at all.
Okay.
Could
And
you-
just
could you-
if I found a ocean
Sorry,
beachfront
could you guide,
lot for
our-
200,000.
Could
I
you
lost
guide
it.
our audience a little bit as to the process? How can they apply? How can they contact you? How does, let's say like Danielle, she's ready, to buy. What's the process? As a summary of that.
Sure. We have like different ways. Of course, we have our web page that you can apply online. You can submit the very simple information. You can do it in 2 minutes, and then it can get you and let you know if you are a potential candidate for the Dream Loan. That's if you're doing online, or you can reach out to us either to one of our branches in wherever you are, Puerto Peñasco, Los Cabos, Puerto Vallarta. Or you can send us an email, a direct email to me, and if we can share our email or contact information. And in less than 24 hours, one of someone from my team will reach out to you to probably do a phone call or a video call, so we can know more about your expectations. I mean, what do you want to buy? What's your budget? and so we can get you on board and get you started the process. So we have those ways to start this loan application process.
Or
When I
they
fill out
can
an application and I have
contact-
a person who approves me, and is that like, do I have this is my loan officer? This is my, like, is there the same person through the whole process?
To all the way from to start the loan application all the way to the formal approval, that you have one contact. After we're moving to closing, the attorney in charge of that closing will be your point of contact. But of course, my team will always be in communication with you, depending where you are, in which part of the process you are, and we'll be always in communication with you, with probably not weekly status, but depending on where we are, probably but yeah, we're always in communication, and you have one point of contact that you can so you can have the right information on the right time.
Pablo, what's the collateral?
The same property you're buying, the same property here in Mexico. We're not asking for any other collateral back in the US or Canada. That's one of the good things, or the characteristics of this product, is that the collateral for the loan is the same property you're buying in Mexico. We're not asking for any other collateral back in the US or Canada.
So if I found a beachfront lot, 250,000, and I wanted to build a house on there, would I be able to use the loan?
No, it's not. This loan is not for construction. It's
Okay.
only for purchasing property that are already finished or about to be finished.
Is there another program?
Uh-huh. I would say that probably in less than 3 months, I will have the cash out ready. Like, if you already own a property free and clear, we can get you a loan with that property, or refinancing. If you already have a property with a lien on it, we can pay off that lien, and then you can do a loan with us. So these two other products will be available probably within the next 3 months.
Oh, that's great. So just to reiterate, if I own property here, I can refinance or use the equity to buy something else.
Something else. It's not, I don't have it ready yet, but will be pretty soon. So let's say I have a property which is worth right now $500,000. So you can leverage that property. You can get the equity on that property with the conditions that I just gave you. Probably it could be 65% or 55% LTV on a 25-year basis, with an fixed interest rate and no prepayment penalties. That will pretty much the same scenario, but I don't have the conditions, and the product is not ready yet.
Who
Sounds
would
exciting.
be
You'll have
the
to
trustee?
come back.
I know that a lot of people have been asking me for this cash out deal product, and we are pretty close to get it out in the market.
Pablo, does the buyer have the option to pick who the trustee is going to be, or necessarily is going to be Intercam?
Yeah, it has to be Intercam, because the kind of fideicomiso that we're doing is very special, and not all banks are doing it. It's called Fideicomiso de Garantía, or Guarantee Trust.
Yeah, I figured that would. Okay.
Is there any specific insurance requirements?
Yes, that's a good. Yeah. Right now, we are asking life insurance, which has to be for at least the loan amount, and a property insurance, just for in case of any natural disasters, because pretty much of these properties are in touristic areas, and there are risks of any hurricanes and things like that. But those are the two insurances that we require.
So that life insurance is just a policy that they would get in the States or Canada, and then send the documentation in?
Yeah. Yes, we have a list of brokers. We have Mexican brokers offering life insurance or property insurances for our clients. We have also a US broker and a Canadian broker. So we have several options. There is no, like, this is the one that you have to buy. We have options as long as they met the requirements, which is the minimum, the loan amount of the life insurance, and at least the appraisal value on the property insurance.
David Carlson is asking if any of these loans have been done yet here in Rocky Point in Puerto Peñasco.
We are about to close our first loan in Rocky Point at the end of this month.
That's great.
Yep. So that's why we are familiar with the area. That's why we already have vendors. That's why we already have notarios, because we are pretty close to have our first loan in Rocky Point.
That's exciting. That's good news for us as realtors.
I know. There's a lot of potential in Rocky Point. I wasn't been there for the last time I was there. It was like 12 years ago, but I have to go again because the manager of the branch, they're saying, when are you coming to Rocky Point? There's a lot of business right here, so I'll be there pretty soon.
We have some exciting things happening. Rocky Point's growing. It will not even recognize the city.
I think so. Yeah,
so
it was a long time ago.
I know that you mentioned that you're doing some Canadian loans and Americans. Do you have any kind of statistic to tell us about how many loans you approve per month, or where are most of them originating from?
I would say right now it's 60% Americans and 40% Canadians. That's my combination right now, and we have been closing this kind of loan since last November every month. Right now, we just closed one today, and for this month we have another 4 to close within here in Los Cabos and Puerto Vallarta. This one in Puerto Peñasco. So every month we're getting busier. So since
great.
Last November, we have been closing this kind of loans every month, and we're expecting to have this same rhythm within the next, year probably. I mean, there's a lot of business right now, and because we have interested people from Los Cabos, Vallarta, Riviera Maya, Puerto Peñasco, Mazatlán, San Miguel de Allende. So that's the good thing about my product. I can do this loan in several areas of Mexico.
So are you seeing on a level like globally that business is picking up, so people are definitely interested in buying property in Mexico? There's always the people say, I'm going to wait for the market to crash, or Mexico's not safe and I'm not buying a place. So what is your opinion on the global trend now and going forward?
I have the opportunity of traveling and I've been in Puerto Peñasco, and on the Puerto Peñasco not yet, but in Playa del Carmen, Mérida, Puerto Vallarta. But I've been also talking with people in San Miguel de Allende, and they have a lot of projects going on right now, a lot of pre-construction, but they are feeling the same thing, that there is still a lot of business coming to Mexico. A lot of business, and a lot of Canadians are coming to Mexico, and a lot of people from the U.S., the West Coast, are coming a lot to Los Cabos, Puerto Peñasco, Puerto Vallarta. So when I was last week in Tulum or Playa del Carmen, between those two areas, they have close to 200 projects for the next 5 months. And if you're here in Los Cabos, you hear there's 50 projects going on for the next 5 years. And I believe it's the same in Puerto Peñasco. What I've been in conversations with developers or with the team in Intercam in Puerto Peñasco, it's the same. So I would say that there is a lot of interest in Mexico right now for the Canadian and the U.S. market, that they wanted to come here because there are several things that are affordable for them, like the weather, it's close to their homes. So, and it's also, it's cheaper, right? That's what it is. It's cheaper also. And there are places where it's safe, even though there's this perception about Mexico and that it's unsafe, but there are other areas, especially touristic places, where it's very safe.
Tacos and tequila.
Yeah.
It certainly is.
So speaking as a realtor, because I'm licensed in Canada and also in Arizona, the reason that I see that more people choosing Mexico as their vacation home is after property values, in some cases doubled or more. So now people have a lot in their homes. that they never had before, and actually even semi-retire or retire earlier than they would have ever imagined. So I don't see that
Correct.
going anytime soon. So it's good news for everyone.
And in the past, there was this also that they are coming here for retirement, right? Now it's retirement as well, but they're also looking for investment opportunities because these areas are secure investment. If I want to say
People
that
can
way.
work remotely too. They can bring their computer and they can
Correct.
work here.
Yeah, that's a story that I heard a lot during the pandemic, because they can come here, they can, but if they need to go back to the US or Canada, they are 2 hours or 3 hours fly back, and they can go back and then coming back again to Mexico. So that's one of the good things of being close to US or Canada.
Well, it's one of the definite advantages that Puerto Penasco has, because you can
Correct.
drive in 4 hours.
You
or
can
less.
drive. Yeah, you can drive.
Yes. Of
Agree.
course.
I've gone through my list of questions, but I wanted to ask you if there is something me or Loretta haven't asked that you can help us to, inform.
I would say that you cover pretty much everything, and of course, financing, it's a tool for everyone, right? Allows the agents to sell more and quickly, and also in a faster way, and for the buyers to have the opportunity to look at other kind of properties, right? If I have a limited budget, but if I have access to credit or to a loan, then I can do a different kind of options. But we have to understand that financing, when you are working with financing, it's a little bit different than if you're buying or you're selling in cash, because there's other party who is part of the transaction. So there is a process to it, but the idea of us working as the lender is to make your life easier. So believe me, we want to close as well, and we wanted to do it faster. So
Sure.
Communication is very important, but it's a little bit more complicated, yes, because there's another party in the transaction, and it could take a little bit more time. But we will always let you know if there is any problems, or we anticipate any problems that will prevent us to close within the time that you already have in mind.
That's great.
But I would say that you cover pretty much everything. I think we cover everything. Yep, we went over all details.
Thank you so much for joining us today, and your program is amazing. I can't wait to get out there and start doing some loans together.
I think we already have one client. He said, I'm ready to buy, so we are ready to move on with them. Yep.
Kate, she wants to know how long the loans are term again.
Yeah, it's up to we can do 5, 10, 15, 20, or 25 years. Fully amortized, no prepayment penalties. That's very important. So we don't have any balloon payments or any like different kind of rates. No, if I let you know that your rate is 8% for 25 years, is fixed for 25 years, and there is fully amortized and no prepayment penalties.
So it means that you are paying both interest and principal at the same time.
Correct. That means that you're fully amortized. That's what it means.
All righty. Well, there's a lot of people here very interested in contacting you. We'll be happy to assist me, Loretta, you, and of course our clients always.
Yeah. For everyone watching, just send me a message if you'd like a recording of this email to you. And also we'll put your website and email on the post so that everyone can reach out to you.
Please be happy to help.
Next Thursday at 5 o'clock, we are going to be interviewing a local home inspector here. And we're going to be going through discussing the differences and similarities between Canada and the US, and talking about BINSR, which is a form that we use for the home inspection, which is also used in the United States. So yeah, that's it for today. Everyone have a great night. Thank you again, Pablo. And if you guys could just stay on for a bit afterwards, it would be great.
Thank you, Loretta, Ricardo.